Well, hey there again, Jim Jacobus here. Hope this finds you well. I wanted to just give you a quick note before this video. Last month, right at the end of the year, we did 2 weeks in a row of what we call the 4 questions process that we use every year in order to get on the same page, prepare for the next year. And because it was 2 different videos over 2 different weeks and everything, I decided to very quickly take those, cut out just the content part of it all, and put them together in one video for you. So if you enjoyed the process, right here is all 4 questions in one video. You can download the resource, the PDF that you can take notes on at www.yourmarriagematters.com/4Q. If you've enjoyed this or you enjoyed the process and everything, do us a favor. Pass it on to somebody, share it with somebody else. Help us build the community this year that we're going to use to help everybody experience everything that we intended or we hope for whenever we walk down the aisle and said I do. So hope you enjoy the video. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you guys. Take care.
So what we were going to ask you to do is consider each of these questions as an individual and then as a couple or as a family, because there's going to be different answers depending on what you want to do individually, or like I said, as a group. It can be just your immediate family or people who are impacted by the decisions as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things you want to consider is what matters to you and then what matters in your household.
Right. And then the other deal, we're going to answer them both personally and professionally. And again, maybe the first time we did this, Jason was actually involved, which I remember was so much fun. And so we had 3 of us answering individually and as a family unit. Okay. And then I think you and I did it also as a couple. And then we were doing personally and professionally. And by the way, we had Jason consider professionally to be as a student. All right. I think he was in high school the first time we did this. And so his profession was student and golfer, I think probably at the time. So that's how he would respond to it all. And so that's again, we're going to do it individually and collectively, personally and professionally. And like I said, the first time we did it, babe, we did it as a family. And I remember at the place in Contiki and Rockport, we had flip charts. It took us a couple of days to do the whole thing. Again, we don't want to scare you off. Again, we were wholeheartedly all into this with flip charts, and we had notepads. And babe, I just remember it was a lot of fun. All right, I had such a great time doing that, and then I've enjoyed doing it every time since then. But it can be difficult for sure.
And that's why in some ways, so that it can be streamlined or individualized for you, what matters in your relationship, what matters to you. It was great because I think anytime we get to know those people that are closest to us, anytime we get to know their wants and their dreams, I think that is the fun part. I think that maybe we went down a few rabbit trails and kind of got off subject. So that's why we tried to streamline it and make it really the things that are impactful and meaningful and questions that you want to know.
Yeah. Well, and again, the first time we did it, we had to dig so much stuff up and as we were processing through it. But once you get all that down, and like you said, that about each other, what my goals are, what Jason's goals were, I know what yours were. It just got easier after that. So, gang, here is the first question. And babe, I'm going to let you take this one.
Okay. So, question that we want to start with is what's working and how do we do more of it? What is it in our lives that we considered, working, successful, things that add value to our lives and our days? And I think that's the best starting point. So
What would that be for you in this and right now? What would you say to that?
I think one of the things that worked for us in 2023 and what we want to continue to do is our situation with travel. Our situation in traveling wasn't always without some changes and need to reroute and all that stuff. This year, probably more so than any of the long trips that we've taken, was wrought with changes, and a lot of them at the last minute, a lot of them outside of our control because of things that weren't things that we could make happen because of maybe in the case of, problems with the RV. So that was one of those things that the reason why it worked, even in the midst of difficulty, is our ability to communicate
Right.
and work together and problem solve and come up with solutions that you never know how they would have turned out otherwise. But the fact that we had to be able to problem solve in a very short period of time, work together, not blame the other person. There was nothing to blame the other person for. I think is an aspect of travel and flexibility that worked well for us.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think the fact that we did have the last trip was just like one change right after another, probably more in one trip than we had in all the other trips we've ever taken. But
Mhm.
part of the reason I think it worked well is because we were on the same page to begin with. Like
Mhm.
we have criteria for where we stay. It's got to be big enough for our 44-foot toy hauler. It's got to be welcoming to dogs because Marty travels with us, and it's got to be safe. And
Mhm.
at one place we decided not to stay, shall remain nameless, but we knew in advance those were our criteria and it didn't fit those. And so we
Yeah,
were just like, it's time to move on.
yeah.
And so I think a lot of what works there is the fact that we're on the same page when it comes to what the criteria is and what we want to get out of it. And
Right.
then sometimes, like you said, it just presented a challenge. We had some repairs that needed to be done to the RV. We lopped off an entire week or 10 days of travel that was going to take us through Wisconsin, and we had adapted to that. And I just think a lot of it has to do with, like I said, great communication, but also, one of the things we talk about so important is shared vision.
Mhm.
So I think shared vision helps us make those decisions a lot better, and we'll be talking about that a lot in 2024 in the podcast. So
Right.
I know I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to. You probably wouldn't say it yourself, but I'm going to tee it up for you. I know one of the things that's working well is being here where we can take care of your mom and dad.
Right. And one of the things I was just going to add, and in both situations, this is true. Just because something works doesn't mean it's easy, but it proves to us that we can do hard things. We
Yeah.
can manage multiple challenges that come our way. And a lot of times that's the proof that something is really working is
Mhm.
you invest in the situation. And like you just said, bless her heart, both of my parents this year have had multiple health challenges, and because of my role as a nurse, it is so much easier for me to be there to help them navigate rather than worrying about them in situations that for people is difficult who don't have a
Yeah.
background in healthcare. So one of the reasons why I think it's working is because of my knowledge and experience.
Yeah. For
The
sure.
other thing is that I've told them, and I tell people all the time, it is a blessing to be able to help people that you care about in meaningful ways. And even in times where we're trying to balance and juggle things, I want to always be mindful of how blessed I am to have parents who are in their mid and late 80s and how that works because that's one of our highest priorities is
Yeah.
to care for our family members. So anyway.
Yeah. And when I think about what's working right now from my perspective, and actually, we're so integrated in what we do right now. What works for you is working for us. What works for me is working for us. But we are right now. We're in Aransas Pass, Texas, at Southern Oaks RV Park in a gated RV community. Oh, sorry, baby, I just couldn't help myself. There's a joke behind that. We'll share that with you somewhere in the next couple of weeks or whatever. But we have a beautiful casita here that looks out over a lake, and sun goes down. And babe, I mean, we've been together almost 37 years. Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
almost 37 years, and this is the most peaceful, most calming place I've ever lived. And so what's working for us is this casita that we bought back in May, and we got it all fixed up, and we got back here. We had a few things to do, but it's pretty much locked in right now. And pickleball this morning and everything. Babe, I don't know that. I mean, you know me as well as I know myself. Have you ever seen me any happier or any more content than you do right now?
I I think there's a lot to be said for the environment that we're into and the fact that we just appreciate, how how there's so many things in alignment in our lives.
Yeah.
So I think this is the most peaceful that I've seen you, in a long time too.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, thought you were going to just dodge the question altogether there for a second. So, but here's what I'll say is, and again, what's working for us is that in mid-May, we're going to head out, and we believe our trip this year is going to take us to the Canadian Maritimes, which, babe, I can't wait for that. Last year when we were here and it got close to time to leave, I was like, yeah, I love this place, but I'm ready to go.
Mm.
And so I think part of what's working for us is we've got a great rhythm right now in
Mhm.
what we're doing, and that we're here for about 4, 5, 6 months. We're on the road 4, 5, 6 months. And I think that's working for us. And I think we just need to continue to repeat that and refine it and take advantage of it. We're already starting to do stuff like we had a big pickleball party here the other night, taking advantage of the area and our friends. And we had George and Sandy over for dinner last night, the Waits, good friends of ours that just came in from Michigan. So I just think there's a lot of stuff going on that's good for us. But gang, here's the deal. All right. We want you to have your best year ever. That's what we want you to have. So your conversation is going to be around what's working for you. All right. What is working for you personally? All right. Is it at church? Is it small group? Is it work? Is it what is going on? But here's what we want to dig into. Why is it working for us? Why is it working? Because if we understand what's working and why it's working, we can answer the rest of that question, which is we can do more of it. All right. And babe, we're just going to keep doing more of what we've been doing because I really, like I said, I feel like it's working. And there's a lot of other things we can talk about as well. But again, we have a weekly meeting. We talk about stuff. So we're touching base every week. And then we ought to do a podcast around the weekly meeting because that's so valuable, I think.
Definitely is. So when you're considering what's working and how do we do more of it, as you just said, we're going to look at this individually and as a family and see if we can come up with something that's going to be kind of our to-do list, if you will. Like
Yeah.
what are the priorities, what matters, how are our daily actions and activities leading to those things that we say are wins in our life. So that's going to be important too.
Absolutely. So I'm going to take Q2. Maybe this is that's why you did one. I'm doing two. This is my favorite question, and the reason I love this question is because when we are brutal about answering this, it creates more margin in our lives, so we can do more of question number one. You said it a while ago when we were prepping for this. If you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And so question number two is what's not working. All right. Question 1 is what's working and how do you do more of it? Question number 2 is what's not working and how do you get rid of it or make it work? All right. And when we say not working, I think the first thing, babe, I want everybody to think about is we don't do many things in our life that we don't enjoy, that we don't love. And when I say not working, it just means that it doesn't bring as much return on investment for the time we spend as all the other things that we're doing that we love or we want to do more of. And so when we get rid of things out of our life that aren't working, it creates margin for us. Okay.
So I'm going to toss this out to you. Question for number 3 is this: what do you want to do that is new? So Jim, what are you thinking? What do you want to do that's new?
But we have so much good stuff going on. One is we are making a huge commitment to the podcast this year, adding in all kinds of resources, adding in online courses, adding some group, maybe I won't call it therapy sessions, but group sessions for couples. Maybe a TikTok here or there. We're really all in on it this year. But also, what I'm really excited about, we met yesterday with John Warren and Brian Brown with Grace Point Church here in Portland, Texas, just up the road from where we live in Aransas Pass. And I am really excited, baby. You know that this has always been a passion of mine. I'm going to be starting up a brand new divorce care group there. And I'm thrilled about that because it is something that I've done in the past and I've absolutely fallen in love with, as well as you and I together. Okay, this is what's new for us together. We're going to be doing some marriage work at Grace Point, including a what do we kind of call this, a conference or a workshop on February 23rd. If you're in the area, you're welcome to come join us. So, babe, I'm really excited about that. You know that we've been here for a while. We started going to Grace Point, and we kind of talked about let's just kind of lay low for a little bit, and that worked for me for about 2 weeks.
There you go.
Because I love being involved. I love the marriage work. I love the divorce care work. And so I'm so excited about those things that are coming up. And I know you've got some new stuff coming up in your work too, right?
What's interesting about this is, for me, what do I want to do that's new is actually something that would have been in my old. I'm very excited. We were talking with Matt and Julie Barnhill, and we've worked out some things where we can still continue to work for the Barnhills through Barnhill and Associates Counseling Center, but the opportunity has presented itself to do things virtual for them. So we love the city of Sugar Land. We loved being there, but we don't live there anymore. So one of the options for them is, and through them, is to do virtual counseling. So I'm super excited about that opportunity. Love the Barnhill and Associates. What they do for that area makes a huge impact. And their counselors there are wonderful. To be a part of that team, to be around that wisdom and integrity and just awesome people is something I'm super excited about. So while it's not brand new, it is something that is new for this year for us. And I am just really looking forward to that. So
Yeah. First thing, I'm excited that you're gonna be able to offer more of a private practice up for people and do it virtually because, again, gang, Chrissy has been working with 2 online platforms, Talkspace and BetterHelp, for 3 years now, babe, or more than 3 years, because it started right after we went full time.
2020.
And her experience level and repetition using online platforms is just amazing. She's always been very talented, but even more experienced now. And babe, I'm excited about you being able to offer that up in a private setting for people. But I'm most excited about just getting connected back with Matt and Julie. I mean, two of the best human beings on the planet, two of the wisest people when it comes to counseling and building relationships and building lives. I'm so excited about just being connected back with them. And gang, by the way, we will be doing some couples stuff with them. And I may even be doing some men's groups with them. We're not sure yet. If there's a call for it, we certainly would do that. But anyway, babe, I'm being connected back with Matt and Julie Barnhill is one of the things that I've missed, part of the community that I think we've missed while we've been on the road.
Yeah, right. And I think it's one of those things that while it is something that is not new, I do want to approach this as a fresh start and a new beginning and
Yeah.
everything too.
Oh, yeah.
I just really think this opportunity is something that I'm looking forward. And there's some lessons learned, and this I think can be something that I'd like to share with other people. You know, sometimes we look back at how we've approached certain things in our lives and we want to get better at it. And we want to, while it's not necessarily new, it's an opportunity for us to say, I want to do this different. I want to approach this differently. So while the subject and what's going to be happening isn't necessarily new for me, I've done virtual counseling through platforms before. I've worked for Barnhill before. What the attitude or the mindset that I want to come at this with is new. I want to incorporate more downloadables for people, homework. I've even had one of my clients ask if I would write a journal for her. Just for you, sure. So I think that while it's not necessarily new in that it's something that's I've never done before, I want to approach it with a new attitude. I want a new mindset with regards to that. So,
Yeah, babe, and that's interesting you say that because I think that's so important. Sometimes it's not doing anything new; it's just changing the way we look at something.
right.
And we're going to talk about that in just a second. We talk about what's big for us this year, But gang, if you're out there right now, and again, if you did the first two of this, if you did not, I tell you, stop this, go back and do those first, and come back here, because if you do the second question we had last week is, well, what's not working and how do I get rid of it? You create margin in your life to do new stuff. And babe, I taught Monday night here in Rockport. I taught a pickleball for beginners class. Maybe you want to start playing pickleball this year. Maybe you want to start playing pickleball together this year, which would even be better than doing it by yourself. But again, maybe that's what you want to do that's new. Maybe you want to you want to go to a church. That would be cool. Maybe you're at church and you need to join a small group, because a small group is where you really get that support system around you. Maybe here's something we started a couple years ago, is that we started listening to the daily audio Bible every day. Maybe you want to do that this year. We highly recommend it. Just go to Daily Audio Bible. It goes through the entire Bible in a year. We listen to it every night. Maybe that's what you want to do this year. Maybe you want to take up a sport. Maybe you want to take up a hobby. Maybe the two of you together want to write a book. I don't know what it is, but you said this last week, babe, and I just loved it. This is a time of year for new beginnings. All right. And that's what I love about Christmas and New Year's. It's a time for us to think about something new that we want to do. And so I love that question, because, if the moment we stop learning is the moment we start dying, and adding new stuff into our life. God intended for us to be, growing and vibrant and things like that. So we want you to figure out, what do you want to do that's new, and do us a favor. You can go to yourmarriagematters.com /171 and leave a comment there, or go to our Facebook group and leave a comment. Let us know what's the one thing that you want to do that's new this year in your life. And then, babe, the last question, we've made a commitment to this. What do you want to do that's big? Now, gang, we actually have something we're working on. We can't share with you right now, but babe, this thing that you and I are going to do together that's big, it's going to be individual and collectively for both of us. And it's going to impact everything we do. And that is, we're going to get healthy this year.
Right.
We're going to eat better. We're going to lose weight. Part of that commitment is saying this out loud to you guys to hold us accountable for it. All right. We've talked about this in the past, but now it's out there. All right. We are going to get healthy because, babe, I love my life. I love my life with you. We've got a great son and daughter-in-law. We got 3 beautiful grandkids, and I want to be around here as long as I possibly can. And I want to be around here as long as I possibly can with you.
It was funny when the question popped up and it says, what do you want to do that's big? I thought, I want to be less big. I want to be less big. So
funny.
I think what that means too is oftentimes with health, and I'm speaking totally for myself, it's not a knowledge deficit. As most of you know, I'm trained in mental health, but I'm also trained in physical health because I'm a nurse. And a lot of times there are things that I do that push my health to the background. And unfortunately, a lot of people in healthcare, and I can speak to nurses, know that this is true. We put our own health on the back burner for other reasons. And that has got to be my priority. And I'm only speaking for myself because that's the only person I have control over. There's so much that I want to take control over. And some of it is related to stress and how stress impacts the body and different things. But also to work together on this, because we are a team. If you've ever traveled together or lived full-time in an RV or did any of the stuff we've done, it's not like this is something we could do individually. We need each other in this. And I need to be the best version of myself in so many ways. And health is certainly at the top of the list.
Yeah.
So all of that means to get to eating better, to sleeping better, all the things that go along with that, having those goals and habits worked out. So who we want to become are the healthiest versions of ourselves. And then our goals and stuff would align around those. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And again, we have, this is going to sound so cliche. you and I have so much to live for. All right. And I'm not afraid of dying. I'm comfortable when my time comes. The things that I believe in from a Christian perspective are going to come true. And, if that happens tomorrow, I'm fine. I have lived an amazing life. I have no regrets, but I just want to be around longer. Not because I'm afraid to die, but because this is so much fun. And
Yeah.
I'm having such a good time. And I love you with all my heart. And I love our marriage with all my heart. I love our life together with all my heart. And then our kids and grandkids and your mom and dad and the work that God's blessed us to do to help others. I just want to do as much as I can. It reminds me, babe, for those of you, we travel full time in an RV, probably not full time anymore because we now have our casita here in our gated RV community in Aransas Pass. I'm sorry, babe. I'm going to have to put that up as a banner.
Yeah.
But I just am so thankful for all of that. But you and I have gotten to the habit of saying, no matter where we travel, it's beautiful. Go see as much as you can. No
Right.
matter where we go, people are amazing. Get to know as many people as you can. And at the end of the day, there's never going to be enough time. It's right there under Team Jacobus on our banner there. There's never going to be enough time. And so do as much as you can and use it wisely. Baby, I just want as much time as I can.
Yeah, you too.
And I want as much time with you as possible because I adore you. I love our life and I love this work that we do. So,
When there's so much in your health that's outside of your control, I know that to be true. There's things that you can't control in your health, but if it's possible, if it's to be, and it's up to me, I better be committed to do the right thing with regards to that.
yeah,
So, I think one of the things we're reading a lot of books in regards to this, but what we're going to have to do now is not only restorative, to restore some of the good habits and things, but all and preventative, but we're fighting against the clock.
yeah.
We're fighting against what is the course of aging and stuff. So I think that's going to be something that's got to be a guiding factor this year. Is our health has got to be, one of our top priorities.
Yeah.
So
And so you may be sitting out there asking, wait a minute, what's the difference between what's new and what's big? Well, new is just something you make a decision to do. We're going to start going to church. We're going to join a small group, and all you got to do is just sign up and go do it, and you're there. Big requires planning and requires strategies, requires commitment, requires probably a little bit more than just deciding I'm going to start playing pickleball. Now, that can become something big too. Don't misunderstand. But something big is something you're going to have to plan for. It might be in your family, we're going to buy a house this year. All right. It might be we're going to have our first child. It might be we're moving from somewhere to somewhere else. It could be we've made the decision to go full time in an RV, which
how
requires
crazy is
a ton of planning.
that?
We vote yes for that. It's not for everybody, but it is an amazing lifestyle. So that's the difference between what's new and what's big. Now, more question: what's working, and how do we do more of it? What's not working? How do we get rid of it or make it work? Okay. What do you want to do that's new? What do you want to do that's big? You can download that at yourmarriagematters.com/171. And if you downloaded it last week, you only got the first two questions. Now, if you download it, you're going to get all four on there. And we encourage you to do that. We'd love to have you join us on our Facebook group. We'll be doing a lot of stuff there. We learned how to do more Facebook Lives back during we were wagon masters for a rally, for an RV rally. And so we're going to be doing more of that. We're going to be doing some webinars, babe. I know how much you love doing these videos and everything, maybe some TikToks and Instagram and the podcasts and the blogs. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff this year. So we invite you to join us. Let us know how we can help you. Email us info@Team Jacobus. We'll respond to that. You can email Christy, email me. We'll both be answering those. We'll do everything we can to make sure that 2024 is your best year ever. Babe, just a couple of days now before New Year's Eve and the ball drops and we start all over again. What do you want to leave everybody with?
I think that's a real good thing to leave people with. I have liked New Year's resolutions, but the problem with New Year's resolutions is most of them, we have this mindset that we can never make a mistake. And so put into practice things that will be sustainable, that you can do together. And also, if one of the things in the book Atomic Habits that I think is so good, don't fail 2 days in a row. If today's a mistake, if you messed up today, that's okay. Tomorrow's
Yeah.
another day. But do make a commitment to the things that matter to you. Do make a commitment to the things that you want to be a priority. Because as you've said, and I think this is so true, there will never be enough time. And it just feels like things are going by so fast.
Yeah.
And I want to treasure the moments, be grateful for all the many, many, many things we have to be thankful for. And I want to really take advantage of being in the presence of the people I care about in the days and weeks ahead. So that would be that. And I want people to recognize that as well. So, what
Absolutely.
about you?
Well, yeah, and I'm so excited about what we have for the new year, guys. Just a little bit of a preview. The first 4 weeks of the year, we're going to be going over the 4 critical core skills it takes to build a great relationship, build a great marriage. And then in February, we have a real treat for you. I'm not going to let it out of the bag yet, but it's going to be fun. We've done it in the past. We're going to have a good time with it. We'll be teaching the workshop at Grace Point on February 23rd. We'd love to have you if you're in the area. Come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to that. That's, babe. I just expect tomorrow's going to continue to be better than today, and I can't wait for tomorrow.
Right.
Can't wait for next year. It's going to be an incredible year. We've got great plans, but I just know that God's going to do even more than we even dreamed of. Gang, we're here because we believe that God intended for you to have an incredible relationship, that marriage was made to be phenomenal, and we want to do everything we can to help you experience that. And so understand your marriage matters to you, matters to your kids, your family, your community. You need to understand your marriage matters. You and your spouse, your marriage matters to Christy and I.